You know, right now I'm dealing with severe intestinal issues. But this stuff makes me even more nauseous than that. Well, and salutations, my lovely little lunatics. It's me, your friendly internet psychopath Insanity, here with my co-host Bob.
Hello.
And today, on the ENSane Report, the whole Jan 6th hearing is coming out, and it's really one of the most biggest scenes of hypocrisy I have ever seen.
It really is bad, and especially when you compare it to, the non-action of all the other riots.
Yeah, but before we get into that, make sure to like and subscribe, and follow us on Locals,
Rumble,
PocketNet,
and Mines.
Anywho, so, I watched some of the Jan 6 hearing, and it is awful. It is truly awful.
Yeah, police officers crying thinking they were gonna die.
And once again, the only person that actually died, not from an accident, was Ashley Babbitt, and we still haven't heard anything about her. Nothing, no.
Yeah, aren't they filing for you?
They are, but there's just it's once again, they're probably going to drag their feet, probably take years before any of this actually comes out, any of it at all. And yet at the same time, just it's mind-boggling. But you know what? Let's just jump into it. I've got the example of this and then all the other stuff that no one seems to talk about. It's just as if it never happened. Whoop. From the Daily Mail. You guys won. Republican Adam Kinzinger, primary this man, chokes up on Jan 6 hearing and thanks cops after GOP colleague Liz Cheney vowed to find out what happened every minute of the day in the White House. Because they're starting to blame Trump. They believe it's Trump.
Of course they do.
The House Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol held its first hearing on Tuesday. Rep. Adam Kinzinger choked up talking to the officers about what happened that day.
Now, let's be honest, a lot of bad stuff did happen.
Yes. But at the same time, you also have the moments, they're all, the biggest thing is you've also got them going after grandmas who just walked in because they were allowed in by the police. That's the big thing here, is because you have that.
And then you have people setting fire to everything on the left side and nothing.
Yep. This will remain, Rep. Liz Cheney warned America could face a riot every 4 years if those behind the January 6th MAGA riot are not held accountable for their actions.
Yeah, once again, they aren't the one that caused billions of damage, dozens of lives. It's awful.
It really is. This will remain a cancer on our constitutional republic, she said. We will face the threat of more violence in the months to come and another January 6th every 4 years. She added, hearing began with dramatic news footage from that day. 4 officers offered harrowing testimony on being attacked that day. A peaceful transfer of power did not happen. A violent mob was pointed at the Capitol and told to win a trial by combat. It's so stupid. I'm not going to give this any more credence because this was just awful. Primary this douchebag. And I can't wait for Cheney to get gone. These rhinos need to be kicked out. But let's go over here. This from January 26th. Capitol Police Chief admits the agency was completely unprepared for MAGA riots despite knowing there was a strong potential for violence 2 days before. Acting Capitol Police Chief Uganda D. Pittman apologized to Congress for the stunning security failures during the January 6 MAGA riots on Tuesday. In the face of a terrorist attack, the department failed to meet its own high standards as well as yours, Pittman told the House Appropriations Committee. She said the USCP knew there was a strong potential for violence on January 4th, but did not do enough to prepare. Pittman revealed that the Capitol Police refused a request to activate the National Guard troops 2 days before. The board then delayed sending troops for an hour as the violence unfolded. Pittman said the USCP officers have suffered from PTSD and dozens have contracted COVID in the... Of course, the CCP-90...
Well, this is back in January.
It is true, but at the same time, the BLM riots and protests obviously didn't do anything. But yeah, it's... So, they knew there was a chance of something going on. And they did nothing.
Well, why would they do that, I wonder?
Because they needed the big show. They needed something. Because they needed something as a last middle finger to Trump. But now let's go into all the other stuff that doesn't seem to have anyone talking about it nowadays. Once again from Daily Mail. This is from September 4th, 2020. Hundreds of Portland protesters break into a federal courthouse and set it alight, using fireworks as cops declare a riot for the second time in 72 hours and retreat into their precinct.
I don't remember fires being set in the Capitol.
No, me either, but obviously this is a protest. What? Protesters breaking into a federal courthouse. But no, nothing here. A graffiti-covered federal courthouse in Portland was briefly set on fire Thursday night after a firework was thrown through the glass door broken by rioters. A group from the demonstration had broken into the Justice Center earlier. Cops declared a riot for the second time in 3 days after the rioters refused to clear the area and threw rocks, bottles, and fireworks at police officers. The next one. From Fox, April 22nd. If I remember, this was 2020. I think it was 2020. No, 2021. Okay. BLM protesters. BLM rioters storm Oklahoma Capitol over GOP bills protecting drivers fleeing from riots, police from doxing. More than 24 rioters filled the gallery while Oklahoma House was in session. They went in and they messed up an actual vote and all, but no, they're protesters. They're not rioters. Continuing on. GOP Colorado Rep. Lauren Boebert demands the Justice Department explain why Capitol rioters are being charged and jailed while BLM rioters who attacked federal buildings are not. They set fires. They attacked police officers, but nothing here.
Well, isn't it obvious?
It's obvious to anyone with half a brain cell.
Yep. That's just simply because they're the left, and they're the useful idiots.
Yes. Rep. Lauren Boebert and 10 House Republicans say the Jan 6 Capitol rioters are not being treated the same as those arrested during the BLM riots in 2020, which of course they're not. They're still being held without bail. They haven't been charged. Some are being beaten. You get stories every day about all this stuff that's going on. It's
also probably because the right really needs to just galvanize together and go after these people.
They really do. It's one of those things where the left goes out and just screaming and screeching and attacking, but the thing is they know they'll do it. It's awful. It really is. The lawmakers demand that U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland addresses an inconsistent application of the law. A lawyer representing one of the Capitol rioters alleged poor treatment and abuse at the Washington, D.C. jail. The letter claims prosecutors have signed off on at least 12 deferred resolution agreements in federal cases from clashes in last year's BLM riots. Alexandria Eden, 24, of Portland, was charged with civil disorder after she allegedly used a wooden shield and hoses to strike Portland police officer. She struck a deferred resolution agreement allowing her record to be wiped clean if she stays out of trouble. That ain't gonna happen here. You could have just walked in after an officer opened the door for you. It's life in prison. Evil person, execute them. That's what it is. Alexa Doran Graham was indicted on a felony charge for pointing a laser at a small plane flown by Portland Police Bureau during the riots. Graham will have the charge against her dismissed in December if she complies with terms of her deferred resolution agreement. Absolute hypocrisy. Absolutely one-sided and absolutely disgusting. Now let's continue on. Yes. Shut up. Verify. Yes, at least 150 local and federal officers were injured during the first week of the protests in D.C. This was on June 7th in 2020. Attorney General Barr said on June 7th that 750 officers were injured during the first week of riots. A fifth of those officers were in D.C. And, which of course, was leading to this. Secret Service, this is June 1st, 2020. Secret Service agents wounded outside of the White House. Car bombs feared, officials say, Trump was taken to the bunker. Yes, he was taken to the bunker. So these people were at the White House gates. The White House gates. Oh, also, let's just, here. A senior official in this direct chain of command defending White House, D.C., told Fox News that the injuries to Secret Service agents, some of whom were hurt by rioters throwing bottles and Molotov cocktails. Didn't see those at the Capitol riot. It's absolutely disgusting how just the blatant and disgusting hypocrisy.
It really is. And the biggest thing is, we all know that they're going to screw these poor individuals to the wall. Yes, there are some that deserve prison time, but there are many, many, many more who deserve such actions from these riots over the past year. It's absolutely disgusting, and it's one of those things where I really do hope that all the crap, the critical race applied theory stuff, all the gun grabbing, all this horrible stuff pushes people to move out anyone. Because these people who are in politics right now defending all this are the same people who are crying and saying how horrible, how terrifying January 6th riot is, but nothing about the BLM riots. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and so I hope that this gets enough people to just vote these rhinos and dinos out. Because here's the big thing. The crap and the gun stuff and the voting stuff and all that's going on, and they're talking about more lockdowns and bringing the masks back, which is never going to freaking happen. It's just not. But those people who we see doing that, they're going to hopefully get ripped the hell out during the 2022 election.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why they're pushing so much of it now, because they realize they're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, no, Biden is hovering around 50% favorability, and Kamala has dropped under. She can't even break 50% anymore.
Oh, yeah, and she was going to be the one they were going to push because it was either her, Biden, or Bernie. Biden will probably be dead. Bernie, there's no chance in hell they'd ever let him in. And Kamala is off. She's awful. Everyone hates her.
So, yes, that's the scary. And so, what are they going to have? They'll have nothing. Because Cuomo was going to be a big one for them.
And then he utterly screwed himself.
Although at the same time, the whole thing about him murdering 15,000 individuals, well, that's not going to be done anymore.
Nope. It's over with.
Yeah, no, they dropped the case because they just, they don't need to go after him anymore. They don't. But yeah, so this whole thing was absolutely disgusting. And once again, shows why there's no way in hell I'm ever giving up my guns, and my friends and I, we're getting land. We're so done with all this. It is beyond disgusting how these people seem to think that you don't have access to the internet, that they think everyone uses Facebook.
A lot of people do.
A lot of people do, but everyone has access to these articles. And it's... They really don't understand how powerful the internet is.
Yeah, I can't take it much anymore.
No, it's one of those things. But, hey, come 2022, hopefully they just get all dragged out and thrown down the steps through the votes. Anyway, that'll be the end of this little video. If you like this video, then shake the like button and subscribe for more.
Insanity.
And I will see you all later. Present, everyone.
Bye.